Good morning to all of you out there. Welcome to the program agenda once again. And I am your host, Cito Beltran, thanking you for watching us, taking the time to join us today. And today we will be talking to people in the business sector, one in automotive and one in the field of women empowerment and women in business. We will be discussing those two topics. And makinig po kayo kasi marami tayong matututunan because this morning my wife was telling me that she was watching or reading the news, and she mentioned what happened in England, in the UK, where if you will recall, majority or at least 50% plus one of the population voted for Brexit, for British to get out of the European Union. And as a result of that exit, what happened was in UK did not have access to many foreign workers kasi biglang naghigpit, biglang okay, now we need visas for anyone crossing the pond, so to speak. And what happened was the UK has a shortage of drivers, truck drivers. Kumbaga, kasi puro visa-visa, hindi na. And they even raised the issue when you people voted for Brexit, you were essentially saying that foreign workers were taking away British jobs. So now there is a shortage of drivers because there are not that many, there are not enough truck or lorry drivers in the UK. And what has happened is this has added to another problem. If you are not aware, there is an oil shortage or sinasabi nila baka magka-oil crisis pa. In any case, there's an oil shortage, so you need delivery of fuel, but if you don't have drivers to drive the trucks, that compounds the problem. So one of our guests will be talking to us about an academy, okay, related to trucks. And anyway, before we do get into all of that, allow me to go to our daily starter. Invest in 7 ventures, yes, in 8. Okay? Ano ba invest ha? Maglagay ka ng pera, pumasok ka sa 7 hanggang 8 kabuhayan or business or kaalaman because you do not know what disaster may come upon the land. Hindi ka nakakasiguro kung yung kinalalagyan mo at sitwasyon ay hindi magbabago at magkaroon ng indulto. Okay, now, when martial law was declared on September 21, 1972, my father, Louis Beltran, went to jail for approximately 4 months. He could not work or be employed for 3 years because all he ever did was be a journalist. The first act of survival was to sell his cars, sell paintings, furniture, and eventually sell property. Then he went into breeding dogs, fighting cocks, in order to put food on the table while my mother, Marita, worked her way through the SSS. Eventually, they got back on their feet and struggled and survived. Pero martial law left them financially wiped out and eventually even took its toll on their marriage. Now ask yourself, if disaster struck, do you have the more than one skill, degree, or training that will help to get a job or work in another field or industry? Kasi marami po sa atin nag-specialist. Para yung mga kapanahonan ko, isang degree lang, AB lang. And then yung mga sumunod, meron ng AB, may MA pa or masters. And now it is so common in America and in Europe for have a major and a minor. And ang concept doon is meron kang either real specialization or may backup ka. If disaster struck, natural, economic, or political, will your business or the company you work for manage to survive and shift or retool to produce or provide other products and services? Eh, sasabihin nyo, Sito, tumama na nga yung disaster eh. Marami pa pong disaster na pwedeng mangyari. Okay, I remember the day when I started praying to God to give me wisdom on what to do with my half-hectare property in Lipa in order to make it productive. That was when God showed me Ecclesiastes 11:2. And so I worked on renting out a small portion to a company. I got into raising a few pigs, layer hens, put up a tilapia pond, yung maliit lang po, no, para kakainin lang, and raising fighting cocks. The idea is to be productive, not an overnight millionaire. Have enough cash to pay utilities and produce your own food. Whether you are like me, meron lang in case of fire, break glass for emergency, backup, or towards my retirement, it is wise to follow what is written in Ecclesiastes, which I believe was written by King Solomon. Invest in 7 ventures, 8, yes, in 8, you do not know what disaster may come upon the land. That is our daily starter for the day. Okay. And pag-aralan po ninyo ng maigi yun kasi hindi naman kailangan big time. Maliliit lang. 7, 8 iba-ibang gawa. May barbecue, may kamote, may baboy, etc. Okay, let's now go to the front page of the Philippine Star. And there you go. Bongbong declares bid for presidency. Nag-file na po ng kanyang certificate of candidacy si former senator and failed vice presidential candidate Bongbong Marcos. And at the top of the header of the Philippine Star, let's go now. Senate formally probe continues. Malacanang has put out an executive order telling the officials of the executive department not to participate in the ongoing investigation which President Duterte has labeled as a waste of time. Tandaan nyo lang po, it was in this program where we discovered or were informed that there is a Supreme Court decision declaring such action and order as unconstitutional. Napansin ko lang doon sa executive order, napakadiin nung sinabing by order of the President, although signed by the Executive Secretary. I'm just praying that this does not come back to the President. Kumbaga, ang sisi sa kanya ang balik. Okay, now let's go further down the Philippine Star. You have, okay, yeah po, ito. Lagi nating nakikita yan eh. Doon po sa Sofitel, sa Pasay, sa Sofitel Harbor Garden 10, doon nagpa-file ng COC or Certificate of Candidacy. That photo is a photo of the Integrity Pledge Board. It is something where you read and swear by or promise to keep your integrity and honor the integrity of the national election and local elections. And you are requested or encouraged to sign on the board. Okay? You know, I'm not being sarcastic, but it just occurred to me, after all is said and done, I don't know if that integrity board will be prominently displayed or in some museum or in the COMELEC, etc. Chances are it will, like many campaign materials, be burned in the trash heap. Okay? So, let's go on to the other news in the front page of the Philippine Star. Yun namang COVID-19 tally of Philippine cases. it has gone down. Yesterday, it was in the 10,000s. Now it is down to 9,055. Interestingly, there is no input for number of deaths yesterday. Sana naman po walang namatay. That would be the best conclusion instead of not available or no answer. Okay, below the tally of COVID-19 cases, you have this. Bets waiting for Lucky 8 to file COC according to Comelec. Akala ko po, sino ba itong Lucky 8 na ito? Because you remember, there was Ocho Derecho, di ba? Merong Ocho Disgracia. Now, Comelec is saying Lucky 8. Apparently, it has been observed by Commissioner Rowena Guanzon that the Lucky 8 is a superstition of many politicians na nahawahan na ng mga pungsoy-pungsoy na magfa-file on the day of that is with the lucky number 8, which is Friday, October 8. Yan yung mga new generation na naniniwalang 8 is the lucky number. Pero if I am not mistaken, there will be people filing today or tomorrow kasi yung iba naman naniniwala lucky 7. Okay, so anyway, as far as the front page of the Philippine Star is concerned, marami ang maghihintay for Friday. Okay, now here we go. This is a very interesting piece of news. President Duterte is preparing for his ICC defense, okay, or his defense against the charges or investigation of the International Criminal Court. But he reiterated he won't submit himself to the investigation by the Hague Tribunal. So parang ano ka mo? Sabi mo, hindi ka naniniwala sa ICC. Sabi ninyo, Mr. President, we are no longer a member of the ICC. And yet, here we go again. The President said, people don't want me to stay in politics. They want me to go home to Davao and wait for numerous cases. I will wait for you. Parang kanta, no? I will wait for you. Wag na. Okay, so that's it. Let's go further down the Philippine Star. Ito pong masakit. Rodi admin's approval ratings on issues have slid or is going down. Okay. Medyo in a survey conducted September 6 to 11 showed the government's approval ratings on 40 national concerns suffer double-digit declines. Kumbaga, hindi 1 to 9, 10 and above ang bagsak per percentage, okay? Most urgent national concerns which fell 26 points between September 20 to last month. Ayan po, no? Medyo hindi ko nga maintindihan yan. Bakit biglaan na lang, overnight? Ayan. Okay, let's go. This should actually be the headline. Ito dapat yung headline, hindi yung filing ng mga kandidato. Facebook and other apps, yung mga iba nilang platform, suffer major outage. Okay, kumbaga, yesterday, many of you, I think it was for about 4 to 6 hours, depending on the area of concern, Facebook and its other platforms, yung kanilang Instagram, WhatsApp, and Messenger, all disappeared or ghosted. Okay, yung favorite term ko nowadays, ghosted. Okay, nagmulto, nawala, and marami pong nataranta. In fact, the older ones were worried kasi parang, nagmartial law ba? Meron bang kudeta? Yung iba naman what happened? I cannot post, I cannot follow my favorite BTS, etc. So ayun po, no, kayo nawalan lang kayo ng service. Ang problema, yung Facebook Ngayon, namomroblema dahil bilyon-bilyon ang nawala in 6 hours. Okay, meanwhile, SM Supermalls became the first official VaxCert PH venue partner after signing a deal with the Department of Health and Department of Interior Local Government at SM City Clark. Ayan po, no? So parang, ayan na, kumbaga, vax certified ka na. Okay, and let's go to the other side para matapos na natin ang balita. Okay, 910 million earmarked for benefits of teachers. Lang, okay? Some 900,000 public school teachers will each receive 1,000 peso incentive, okay? Without any delay as part of the celebration of World Teachers Day, a lawmaker said. Okay, ngayon ako naman po magko-comment lang dyan sa 1,000 pesos na yan for teachers, no? If you are a teacher, we would like to thank you for your services and your sacrifice. But I would also like to remind you, especially those who are public school teachers, mag-uumpisa na rin po ang pang-uuto sa inyo. Okay? I'm just pointing that out because I have given many seminars to members and teachers under the DepEd, and I have pointed out, okay, na ang mahirap dito, pagdating ng eleksyon, bida kayo. Pagkatapos ng eleksyon, limot na kayo. So, let us be clear about that. Yung mga politiko na pushing for more funds for drivers, more funds for nurses, additional bonuses or cash gifts to teachers. Nagkakalukuhan po tayo dyan kasi I understand 1,000 peso is nice. Pero yan po ba ang halaga ng dangal ng guro? Ngayon sasabihin ng mga ilang pulisito, sobra ka naman. Gusto lang namin ma-bless yung teacher. Nako po, may puti na ang buhok ko, manguuto pa kayo. Okay, let's go. Let's move forward. Pasensya na, I just like it, don't like it when, it is so obvious. Parang unconditional. Bigyan namin kayo 1,000. Bakit? Okay, let's now go to the first interview of the day. We will be featuring the Philippine Business Coalition for Women Empowerment, or PBCWE. They are advocates for increased participation and advancement of women in the workplace. Our first resource person, there will be two. She has approximately 20 years of experience working in the fields of politics and public policy and social development, former head of the PMS or Presidential Management Staff, chief of staff of a senator, etc. Siya po yung dating PMS head na under Pinoy. And alam ko na-feature itong aling to na parang, alam mo yung the young and the bright and the upcoming. Let's bring in Julia Abad, Executive Director for PBCWE. Julia, good morning to you.
Hi, Cito. Good morning.
Okay, I remember kasi batang-bata ka pa noon eh. Sabi,
Hindi na ngayon.
Bakit may neneng dyan sa Malacanang? I mean, no, back then talagang neneng ang tawag namin sa'yo. Bakit naging PMS head yung neneng na yan, di ba? Anyway, so we will get to know more about what you do and what it's all about. But let's bring in your associate, co-chairperson of the PBC, has served as consultant to business and government for over 40 years in corporate finance. Ito yung mga kailangan ko maging best friend. Baka yumaman pa ako, Julia. Okay, she is the first female chairperson of the BCDA or Basis Conversion Development Authority, member and board of directors of subsidiaries, etc. And medyo papasukin na lang natin. Boots Garcia, co-chairperson, PBCWE. Boots, good morning.
Morning ulit. Salamat at naimbita kami ulit. Sabi ko sa iyo, madami pa tayong pag-uusapan, di ba?
Hindi, maiba naman kasi alam mo
Oo nga
medyo
eh.
ano, ang lumalabas sa utak ko ngayon election ano na, COMELEC form na,
Exactly.
okay, but
Pero
ladies,
relevant din sa amin ang eleksyon,
okay.
Pag-usapan
Well,
din natin yan.
okay, now I'll be honest, no. When I was first informed that we will be lining up the PBCWE, kasi hindi naman po ako amo dito mga kaibigan. Team agenda is a democracy. So everybody in the team gets to contribute who they think would be
Yeah.
interesting to guest. Eh, nung unang sinuggest ito, Julia and Boots, sabi ko, women empowerment, hello, api na nga kaming mga asawa. Kami na nga yung mga utusan sa bahay. Women empowerment pa. Doon kayo sa Amerika, sa China kayo magsalita. But what is the status of women in the workplace, kasi ang nagiging major issue ngayon abroad, Julia, is the ascendancy or rise of women in the executive positions, na parang pag nag-survey, ang baba. But is that the case in the Philippines?
Julia, go ahead. Yeah.
So Cito, I think you're right. That comment is something that we often get, kahit na minsan jokingly, it's really men who are oppressed in the Philippines. Women are doing really well. I think you see a lot of women in the workplace. That's definitely true, and they do advance. But I think at a certain level, there's a lot of hesitation to go and take positions of more responsibility, more high profile. That still happens, and so you see also in terms of the kinds of roles that women take, women still end up in support roles rather than mean operating roles. So we are trying to resolve that by trying to get more women into the workplace and to stay in the workplace and to advance in the workplace.
Okay, now, Boots, what exactly does Philippine Business Coalition for Women Empowerment focus on? Kasi maraming areas ang women empowerment.
Yeah.
One is promoting leadership. The other is helping, supporting them establish their own businesses. The other one is information. But kayo, what do you focus on?
Well, as Julia mentioned earlier, our focus is keeping women in the workplace, supporting them to assume leadership positions as, well, if you might put it, employees rather than as entrepreneurs. Okay. That said, we've formed this coalition of large businesses and enterprises, the likes of Accenture, our members, Ayala Land, Magsaysay Land, Meralco, etc. We now have about 18 members. So these companies commit to promote workplace gender equality in the workplace. Okay, so how does that work? For example, first, among other commitments that they might adopt will be to hire a certain percentage of women across the board. Second, to promote women to rise to leadership positions, even up to CEO. Third, to provide women with the support such that, as you described earlier, they will not fall off the what we call the pipeline. That as they rise through the organization, even if they have families, even after they take care of children, companies provide them the support so that they continue to maintain a career. So that's
Okay,
what
but
we're trying to do with BCV. Yeah.
okay, now they say charity begins at home. So one would assume that if this is to happen, women would be in the best position to understand the challenges of women, and therefore, what is the situation now among women CEOs and leaders in this country? Because I'm sorry, but I rarely hear of a public personality, a female public, and it goes both sides anyway. But as far as women
Yeah.
go, parang wala ako masyadong nadidinig na nagpupush or promoting, equality, promoting the ascendancy of women as leaders, etc. What's your reaction on that, Julia?
if you look at the sheer numbers, we still don't have a lot of female CEOs. No, Sita. I think more than getting just female CEOs to talk and encourage women to get into the workplace, we want it to be a leadership effort. So for all CEOs, male and female, because we think that having a lot of different perspectives within an organization is really something that is key to its success. So we're not looking at getting more women into the workplace because it's a sort of right thing to do, but
Yeah.
really it is. But it's also, I think, in terms of business, it's a smart thing to do,
Mm.
because giving opportunity to everybody rather than just 50% of the population is really something that will allow you to get more ideas in the room, which will
Yeah.
allow you to solve problems more creatively. And so it's really not so much a female CEO advocacy, but a leadership advocacy. So we'd like to see it as a way to improve the workplace. You treat everybody, we give everybody equal opportunity. You treat everybody as though all their opinions matter, and you treat everyone with respect. That's something that is good for the work. We see as something that is good for the workplace as a whole.
Julio, we can discuss this topic all day. And it is going to be so interesting, but I will be robbing you of your opportunity to promote the organization. So, may I ask, Boots, what exactly is the program or the direction, or what are the things planned
Okay.
out by Philippine Business Coalition for Women Empowerment?
We've actually existed for 4 years. So in
Mhm.
that period of time, our activities involve recruiting member companies to become part of this coalition. So what do we do? How do we achieve this? Through the memberships, our members undergo what we call a gender assessment, okay, using certain tools that have been developed by other organizations. So we measure, or rather, we determine how far a company is in terms of its gender sensitivity within the organization. And from that assessment, we identify action plans that the business or the organization should adopt or undertake to achieve a more gender sensitive environment. Then, in addition to that, we have tools, okay? So, aside from the gender assessment tools, we do have training modules on Gender 101, anti-sexual harassment, tools on, for example, flexible work arrangements, etc. So we provide a lot of tools and training modules to enable these companies to become more gender sensitive if they are not yet. And at a certain point in time, we go back and assess how far are you in terms of your
Okay.
action steps. How
Yeah.
far have you adopted them?
Yeah,
So
but
that
but
is the kind of assistance, or if you might say, support that we provide.
okay. Boots, Julia, in my past life, and once in a while, I'm still labeled as a sexist ko, no? Hindi lang nila alam, I am a woman trapped in a man's body, no? So, no, but because I grew up very close to my mother, and I have no, I
Mhm.
have I have very close friends, women, very very close friends, and I have seen their struggle, their agony. I think what speaks to me strongly is that maraming kababaihan around the world who are actually trapped in a relationship. I'm not talking about mga love story, no? May asawa
Yes.
ka, you never worked, you never got the proper training, the exposure,
Yeah.
and suddenly this idiot this starts to screw around, and then you are powerless. You are a hostage because you do
Mhm.
not have the economic capacity. That's one,
Exactly.
Boots. Pasensya na, no? I just want to bring this forward. And
Right.
then the other thing I see about all of this struggle for the ascendancy of women in government, in the workplace, is that there is everything is a Western template. Kumbaga, like you mentioned, Boots, yung sexual harassment. Ang nangyari sa Amerika, nauna pa yung sexual harassment in the forefront, pero yung empowerment of women to become
You're
leaders.
right.
And then also, Julia, you worked in the PMS. I'm not being political here, pero may mga nagsabi nga sa akin, Cito, if you think us boys play bad, play rough, watch the women. They're more brutal with each other. Now, please comment.
Julia, you want to go ahead? Yeah.
I'm not sure about women being more brutal, but I think Boots and I have both been in in situations where we're one of few women around the table, and me, I speak for myself when I say, if I was young and then you're only a few women, it's really tough to learn how to speak out and think that you have something sort of good to share.
Mhm.
But I have been lucky to have worked in environments that allowed me the opportunity to be at that table, and two, really asked for my opinion, and three, made me feel like it was valuable. No,
Mhm.
so I think that's part of what we are trying to build. PBCW is trying to create a community of businesses that not only welcome women into their circles, but really put value into their contributions. Because when you talk about empowerment, it's not just letting people in or giving them positions, it's
Yeah.
about putting some value in what they can provide as an input for the company. And that's really what makes businesses improve, for PBCB. And as you mentioned earlier, it also brings together leaders that are willing to invest in that kind of treatment, in that kind of diversity in terms of policy, pronouncements, and actual policies within the organization.
Okay, so
Yeah.
Boots, you referred to templates, programs, gender assessment in the
Correct.
workplace, but what about empowerment of girls? Because you have to forgive me, I come from an I'm not part of, but I am part of. You know, I go, I attend at Victory, at Every Nation Church, Victory. You know, and our perspective, we've been taught by our leadership that our perspective has to be generational and global.
Right.
We cannot be an island nation, and we need to be generational.
Yes.
And nakikita ko parang, are we doing, or are you guys doing, ladies doing anything about empowering girls? Because I had the benefit of being married to a Dutch lady, my wife Karen. We raised our daughter to be global and to be assertive, respectful but assertive.
Yeah. Yeah.
And we have a second set of girls here, our scholars, na nako, talagang makita lang ako, nakatiklop na, nakaganon na, yung
Okay.
parang sabi
Yeah.
ko, pwede ba, stop doing that. I want you to be confident, assertive. And I
Right.
realized, Boots says, has to go down to the grade 1 level. Eh. It has to be generational.
Exactly.
Please, go ahead, Boots.
Thank you for that question. In fact, even within PBC, we recognize the so-called stereotyping, hindi ba? That
Mm,
women's roles is this and men's roles are this. So we try to ingrain that into the family setting. We did also develop what we call a family leadership module,
mm,
where we deal with families here. Actually, this came about because Doris Magsaysay Ho, whose Magsaysay Lines is one of our members, said, a lot of my business has to do with putting people in boats, seafaring people.
mm.
But the woman is left behind to run the family.
Yeah.
And the absence of the male puts a different context into so we develop a family leadership module which includes all members of the family, where we try to discard, or rather eliminate this stereotyping attitude, so that even the children in the we kind of treat the family as a business. They put together their own business plan, strategic plan, etc. What roles are they going to play in the family, regardless of gender? So through that process, through this module, through this training, we're also teaching family members other than the spouses, the husband and but even their children to understand that there is that the roles of women in the family are not what you see outside and what has
Mhm.
been stereotyped. So that concept begins to be ingrained even at the family level with the children together with the couple or the partners who lead the family.
Okay,
So
Julia,
we have taken that into consideration.
okay,
Yeah.
what is the participation of various industry in in the efforts of PBCW? Because you know, God forbid I became a dictator, things would really change because I strongly believe media has a very strong role. And
Yeah.
many of these programs we now see on TV, Western American programs, a lot of these Philippine programs, medyo it does not bring the conversation or the perspective to that level. Parang yung mga babae nag-aaway pa rin sa isang lalaki. Yung mga ganun. And I'm
The
like saying,
usual. Yeah.
hello, yung mga Korean, ang kanilang mga business model or kanilang mga drama model, mga empowered women, mga
Women. Yeah.
nakakatakot na CEO. Dito, pinag-aawayan pa rin ng tatlong babae, isang lalaki. Nakakaasar.
Uh,
Julia.
Tito, before I answer your question, I
hindi
think
ko rin makasagot.
we've had enough siguro of dictators for now.
Don't worry. I'm going to be focusing on that.
She couldn't help it.
I had to say it. I think that's a good that's a good point. PBCW itself in its membership, we have a good mix of companies. No, real estate. We do have some advertising and PR firms. We have holdings companies. We have telecom. So it's quite a good mix. But when you talk about really looking at influencers, the larger social context, PBC, we also works with investing in women,
Mhm.
which is also funded by the Australian government, and they do work largely around breaking stereotype. There's a whole program that's dedicated to dismantling sort of long-held gender stereotypes,
Mm.
how women are portrayed in advertising, in mass media. That's really something we're trying to address. PBCW itself has had some conversations with PR firms, advertising firms, and also some associations of those firms to try and see how we can work together to sort of change the way women are being portrayed, but also how women are treated in those firms itself. Because you have to start somewhere,
Yeah.
and so if you want to change how women are being portrayed by those kinds of companies, then you have to also look at how women are being treated, advanced, protected, valued in those companies themselves.
Alam niyo mga
Cito,
kaibigan,
may I, Cito, may I,
Ah, sandali
interject?
lang ha, Boots ha. Huwag
Oo.
po kayong ma-offend kung napangisi ako, napangiti ako when Julia was talking about all of that. Kasi I just got a memorandum from my boss, okay, while I'm on air. It's not just about empowering women but also teaching men and boys to accept women as co-equal. Yung memo po yun nanggaling kay Mrs. Karen Beltran. So, ayan, na-memo na ako on air. Go.
No, I was about to also respond in relation to what Julia was saying. One of the things we also have developed is gendered communications. Part of this whole exercise is the language that you use to communicate exactly what you said. While it may appear to be in print, but even how do you talk to a group where there are women? You
Mm.
have to be conscious of the fact that there are differences, I mean, in how people react to comments, etc. So we also have a module which trains
Yeah, but
our members
quickly na
how to
lang, Boots, no?
communicate.
Quickly na lang kasi naubusan tayo ng oras. We have to do a part two to all of this because this is a really good topic and our Victor Tolentino, our EP, please make sure that you schedule this next week. I want this topic.
Oh, okay.
Uh, no, but kasi here's the thing, there are 2 points. We need to train the young people, the children, to see each other as co-equals and to
Right.
see each other not as the weaker sex or the bullies.
Right.
But it's really equality, because what you were pointing out, Boots, and I'm not trying to be nega with you, but when you say that I have to watch myself how I talk to a certain particular set of women, there is already a presumed gender bias there, di ba? Yung bang pag tinuruan mo
Well,
pa ako,
which we did not create, which you create.
oh, ayan na, kita mo na. Pinagbintangan mo na ako. That's my
No,
point.
I'm just kidding. I'm just
No,
kidding.
no, no. But anyway, I mean,
Yeah, go ahead.
I think this is a good start. And at least, as they say, open the dialogue, open the discussion, and bring attention to the effort of the Philippine Business Coalition for Women Empowerment. Kasi I would like to claim that in terms of scores, the Philippines, I think, is on the higher level of honoring and respecting and accepting women than other nations, pati na dun sa Western countries. Kasi ilan sa kanila ang nakadalawang presidente na, and I believe
Babae.
marami sa mga CEO na babae, di ba? So anyway,
Yeah.
ladies, I'm really sorry, but ayoko namang magbayad ng multa. Ano, na-memo na nga ako ng isang boss, memo pa ako ng isa. But thank you, because at least we opened the door, and I would like to invite you in next week sometime so we can talk about women's issues and better discuss this,
Sure.
if you don't mind.
Thank you very much again. So magkikita na naman tayo, Cito.
Definitely. And yung neneng, sama mo.
Siyempre. Maraming salamat. Thank you.
Thank
Okay.
you so much.
Thank you very much, Julian Boots. And that's our first interview for the day. Now, I mentioned earlier that in the UK, medyo nagkakakapusan na ng driver ng truck. Yan pong next topic natin, because our next interview is the technical manager of Foton Motor Philippines, Mr. John Patrick Santiago, to talk to us about the Foton Academy. Okay, John, good morning.
Good morning, isang mapagpalang araw po, Sir Cito, at sa mga nakikinig at tagapanood natin.
Okay, nagkataon lang dyan na kaninang umaga ay nabanggit sa akin ng misis ko na medyo nagkakakapusan daw ng driver ng truck sa UK, sa Inglaterra, dahil nga doon sa ginawa nilang Brexit. Kanya lang, walang kumakagat. Kasi parang sabi ng England, sige, pwede na kayo pumasok, bibigyan namin kayo ng visa, pero kailangan umuwi kayo sa Pasko at hindi na namin kayo babalikin. Sabi rin ng mga driver, mahinog kayo. So obviously, yung pagiging truck driver ngayon is already in a different level. You need to go to an academy. Thank God for that. Kailangang matuto sila. And they are in demand. Hindi na yung mga OFW na domestic helper, pati truck drivers kung may Ngayon, tanong ko, yung Foton Academy, ano ba yan? Is that a driving school o ano ba? Pasensya, wala kasi akong alam sa Foton Academy.
Actually, Sir Cito, no, ang PMTC and Foton Academy, joint or collaboration po ito ng Foton Philippines at ng Pampanga LGU through Pampanga Manpower Training Center. Dito po is nasimulan na ni Foton. Ang una po nating naging programa dito is yun nga pong NC1 and NC2, automotive servicing with advanced technology. Actually, ino-offer ito dati ni PMTC, but nung pumasok po or nagkaroon ng partnership si Foton at ng Pampanga LGU, is in-intensify pa natin yung training or in-upgrade pa natin yung training na lahat ng graduate natin ng NC1 and NC2 is nagkaroon na sila ng mga idea, natutunan sila kung ano yung advanced automotive na umiiral ngayon, hindi lang sa Pilipinas, maging sa buong mundo. And then, second thing na naging project natin dito is yun nga, yung automotive servicing and C1 and C2. And then meron din tayo dito sa PMTC and Foton Academy na driving lesson, no? Yung mga truck drivers and bus driving is meron din mga courses na ino-offer dito regarding doon sa mga aspirant na maging truck driver at saka maging mga bus driver.
Mhm.
In reality po, no, sa mga naging trainees na natin o yung mga naging enrollees natin sa PMTC, since pumutok yung pandemic ng 2020, around 4.5 million na mga Pilipino is naging unemployed. Kasama po dyan yung mga OFW, no, na hindi na nakabalik, na umuwi ng Pilipinas or nagbakasyon. And then nung nagkaroon ng pandemic, hindi na sila nagkaroon ng pagkakataong makabalik. So ang mga nagiging tendency po, Sir Cito, is wala silang trabaho, no? Kaya nung na-i-open natin ang Pampanga Manpower Training Center and Foton Academy, marami po ang naging enrollees natin na mga former OFW na naghahanap ng alternatibong pagkakakitaan o magiging kabuhayan due to the pandemic, kasi hindi natin alam hanggang kailan ito. So marami sa kanila ang nag-decide na mag-enroll sa automotive servicing, sa mga driving training natin, curriculum. And then sa Pampanga PMTC Foton Academy is nag-o-offer din tayo ng heavy equipment operation and basic servicing, no? Kasama din ito sa ating mga naging programa.
Okay. Nabanggit mo dyan, okay, so unang-una, tinuturuan ninyo mag-servicing. Hindi po ito simpleng pag may mekaniko,
Opo.
ito ay pag-ayos, pagtingin ng mga sasakyan, mga makina, pero using computers. Hindi
Opo.
ito yung, kumbaga sabi nga isang Amerikano sa akin, napakagaling yung mga Pilipino. Bigyan lang kayo ng screwdriver at saka pliers, kahit ano, nagagawa nyo na. Abay, pero ngayon, puro computers na. Okay, so,
Opo.
advanced servicing of machinery or engines.
Opo.
Tapos, meron kayong truck driving and for bus drivers. Ngayon, matanong ko lang, how long are the training periods for servicing, for truck driving, and for bus driving? Kasi iba yung certified driver ka for truck, iba yung certified driver ka for bus.
Opo. Sa automotive NC1 and NC2 natin is meron tayong 6-month program, no? Nagra-run yung program natin for 6 months, and after 6 months, ang ginagawa ni Foton is tumutulong tayo doon sa mga OJT program na if merong mga available or kailangan ng Foton ng mga OJT, doon sa mga trainees natin, doon tayo kumukuha ng mga OJT. And based on their performance, so nakakatulong din si Foton or si United Asia Group, Automotive Asia Group, na makapagbigay ng employment sa mga graduate natin.
Okay,
And
Jan,
then-
masingit lang ako dyan. What are the chances that your graduates get to go abroad? Kasi alam ko yan yung setup ng mga companies katulad ng Foton. Siyempre, alam mo, motoring journalist ako in the past. And alam ko yung Porsche, meron din silang ganyan ding training academy. Ang daing nga sa akin ng mga tiga Porsche, hindi pa nakaka-graduate, meron nang meron nang nagre-recruit, meron na diyang mga walang yang gustong pirate yung aming mga graduate. Sa Foton ba, do you have an exchange program with Foton China or the other subsidiaries or branches of Foton Global? Kasi I understand Foton is one of the top brands as far as commercial trucks and equipments go.
Sir Cito, no, yung programa nga natin ito, since nag-run ito with Pampanga LGU, meron na tayong mga nabuksang mga opportunities sa mga naging graduate natin dito. And hopefully, as the program will continue and develop, magkakaroon tayo ng mga, yun nga, yung mga tinatawag nating Foton Technician Global na ma-certified sila if
Okay.
ever na mag-ano sila, ma-engage sila sa Foton Motor
Okay.
Philippines.
Sandali lang dyan. We'll go for a quick break. And when we return, I want to allow you to continue with that global Photon Global Certificate. Tapos puntahan natin quickly yung heavy equipment training. We'll be right back here on Agenda. Welcome back. Welcome back to the program Agenda, and thank you for watching us via Cignal TV channels 8 and 250. And thank you also to PLDT for continuing to give us the technical support. Mabilis and reliable. Okay, ang kanilang home fiber optic internet. Okay, we are going to continue our discussion with the technical manager of Foton, John Patrick Santiago, 14-year veteran in all aspects of automotive requirements, trainings, etc. Okay, John, you were talking about yung Foton Global Certification. Continue.
Yes po, no? As we will go further dito sa project na to with Pampanga LGU, we are aiming more or mas mataas na antas ng training, at the same time mas mataas na pagkakataon sa mga kababayan natin na gustong makapagtrabaho in terms of automotive. Ito yung programa na nakikita natin na
Okay.
lalong makakatulong sa kanila.
John, tatlong beses mo nang nabanggit yung Pampanga LGU. Ang ibig mo bang sabihin ay yung Provincial Government of Pampanga o isang bayan sa Pampanga?
The provincial government of Pampanga through the Pampanga Manpower Training Center.
Ayun. Sa pamumuno ni Governor Dennis Pineda.
Opo, sa pamumuno ni Governor Delta Pineda at sa naging partnership ng aming CEO na si Boss Romel Sitin.
Okay. Now, ang tanong ko lang quickly, no, kasi mukhang tunay, mukhang genuine yung of course, hindi naman kami mag-guess ng peke dito, no. Genuine yung ginagawa niyong programa, because when I say genuine, ladies and gentlemen, 6 months training is not a joke. Ako lang once a week lang, 2 hours lang yung aking naka-enroll na programa, nakukurta na yung utak ko, lalo pa kaya yung 6-month training, no? So, araw-araw ba yung training na yan, John?
Sa Automotive NC1 and NC2, Sir Cito, is araw-araw po yung nagiging from Monday to Friday. Nagsisimula yung class nila is 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. po, is yun po yung nagiging duration
Okay.
ng klase.
Okay, sige. So, 6 months, everyday yan. Pasensya ka na, minamadali ko kasi gusto ko masabi mo lahat. Yung tungkol sa heavy equipment, dahil alam mo dyan, nung ako ay nakapagtrabaho sa ibang lugar, nag-operate ako nung backhoe, yung maliit, payloader backhoe. So, marami sa inyo medyo napapakamot, akala ninyo, pamidya-midya lang tayo. Nag-construction din po ako at saka payloader backhoe operator. Linggo din inabot bago ko nakabisado yung tikada. At ito yung old style backhoe payloader, yung training ng Foton, gaano katagal and for what purpose?
Since we begin this project with the Pampanga LGU na inline din sa amin or na-discuss din sa amin regarding the Build program ng ating
Hmm.
kasalukuyang gobyerno. So we need to train maraming skilled worker natin in terms of construction. So isa sa mga yun is itong mga operation ng mga heavy equipment. So in line with the Build program with the local government of Pampanga, and as we Foton Philippines support the industry, ito yung naging stepping stone namin na okay, we will develop a partnership. At the same time, yung mga nagiging graduate natin dito, we can assure them na makakapagtrabaho, at the same time mapapakinabangan ng industriya ng construction.
Is that limited to Pampanga? Kasi alam ko ang Foton, you are national sales.
Yes
Kumbaga
po.
all over the country. Paano yung mga bumibili sa inyo ng bus, truck, or heavy equipment? Kung magsabing, boss, dyan, pwede ba namin pa-enroll yung tao namin pag bumili kami ng truck? Or do you offer it as a feature sa mga bumibili?
Actually, Sir Cito, no, ito nga ang programang ito with the LGU is free lahat, walang binabayaran ang mga enrollees natin sa mga programang ito. And then in terms of our mga customer naman or mga client na existing client namin and to become our client also sa industry ng heavy machinery, ito po yung ginagawa namin, no? We are supporting our fleet account na talagang ini-encourage namin na mag-conduct kami ng mga training or mag-join sila dito sa training program na to, kasi we know na kapag na-educate natin yung mga operator nila or mga driver nila, magiging mas productive, at the same time yung equipment handling is ma-maximize nila, at yung mga breakdown natin is malilesen natin yun. Kaya we are offering our fleet account training, and then we are encouraging also na mag-enroll sila kung meron silang kayang ipadalang mga tao nila, is they are open or welcome sa Foton PMTC Foton Academy.
Libre naman yun.
Yes po, libre po lahat ng ino-offer nating courses doon sa Pampanga Manpower Training Center and Foton
Okay.
Academy.
Meron na bang nabanggit yung Boss Romel City, ano? Boss
Opo.
Romel City ninyo. May nabanggit na ba sila kung may balak silang magbukas ng mga training academy sa iba-ibang region? Hindi naman pwedeng all over the Philippines na kasi magastos yan. Kasi yun yung isang frustration ko sa sitwasyon ng Pilipinas. Katulad sa pagbababoy, there is a training academy dito sa Lipa, Batangas. Swerte namin. Pero nung sa naikot ko, nung ako nagtuturo para sa BIMEG, walang mga training academy sa ibang region, sa ibang probinsya. Kayo ba sa Foton may balak magbukas sa ibang probinsya or regions aside from Pampanga?
If may mga tulad nga ng nabanggit kanina, ito po kasing proyektong ito, yung programang ito is a joint program with the local government unit. So we are blessed in Pampanga is existing na po yung programang ito through Governor Delta Pineda, and then pumasok lang po si Foton para ma-enhance and then ma-advance yung mga courses doon. So pwede naman po if ever siguro na may mga LGU talaga na makikipag-tie up si Foton. As Foton Philippines, we are open for that tie-up.
Okay, well, John, medyo inabot na tayo. Bumoundary na rin ako. Parang bus driver no? So,
Opo.
thank you for sharing all of that information. And meron naman kayong website. So, maraming salamat for your time today. And I hope na maparami pa ninyo yung Foton Academy na yan. Kasi the more people teaching, the more people become qualified. Thank you very much, John, and God bless you.
Thank you po, Sir Cito. Isang mapagpalang umaga po sa ating lahat.
Okay, yan po si John Patrick Santiago, technical manager, training manager, warranty manager ng Foton Philippines. Kasi veterano po yan si John, according to his resume here. And the reason we are encouraging everyone, lalo na yung mga LGU, kasi pag meron kayong training academy dyan sa lugar ninyo, mas marami kayong na-empower. Hindi yung puro manual labor. Okay? Let's level up. Okay, and I hope you do that. Now let's go to our closing, the commanded closing from the Lord. May the Lord bless you and keep you. The Lord make his face to shine on you and be gracious to you. The Lord lift up his face toward you and give you peace. Ayan po, okay? And thank you for joining us today. Thank you for all of you who have shared your messages, yung mga nagtataka, what are the future programs. Tomorrow po, avoiding any unexpected issues, we will be featuring presidential candidate Senator Panfilo Ping Lacson. Nakausap na ko na siya at bukas pwede na yung schedule. Okay, we thank you very much. Keep it here on One News PH. That's today's agenda. I'm Cito Beltran. God bless you.